Let's start from the beginning.
Spring Hill.
Oh.
Started.
Shout out to all our Spring Hillians.
352.
Brooksvillians.
1519 Manor.
Nazareth
Landover.
Italians.
Elgin. We went to Springstead together. The first time I went to your house, that's when we all started kind of hanging out to your place in the middle of the fucking woods.
That was the first time that I really figured out that you did like music and theater and you were...
Yeah, I don't know how like the conversation really started, but I mean, I've been writing down raps since I was like 13 because of my uncle, Logic Gonzalez. I always had him as a mentor, so I was always writing raps, and then something came up and you're like, oh, I'm kind of like thinking about DJing and stuff. Well, you've always been kind of into music, obviously.
Yeah.
Because of your dad.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing music since I was like 2 or 3 years old. But the hip-hop thing didn't really start until like high school. Like, I really didn't get interested in the hip-hop until high school. Like every white person ever, I got introduced through Eminem. And,
cleaning out my closet.
Okay, hip-hop's cool. I'm hip to this. It was like... I'm hip to hop. I was bad. And 2013 was when we started high school. 2015 was when SoundCloud phase really started popping off. And that was like going into junior year. I remember like Kodak got really big. Lil Pump got big. There was like all the like X.
It was the SoundCloud rappers.
Yeah,
the
like everybody
started getting big.
I had just got into hip hop, so this new like SoundCloud wave came through, and I was like, "What the actual fuck is this?" But I fucked with it, and like that was what they were playing at a lot of high school parties, and there was like no good DJs around us. Like there were a few, like shout out Voltec, shout out. I can't really even think of a whole lot of other people at the time. Like people didn't even really have names back then. They were just like in the middle of the woods, like in the middle of the fucking suburbs, or like out at Hernando Beach or whatever. It wouldn't last longer than like 11 people.
Yeah. It was when they were doing the young. All it was Young M.A. drowning. Drowning, and was it Flocking? No Flocking?
No Flocking was really big.
Yeah, that's every single time we would go out to a party, those are like the three things that they were playing.
And then like occasionally, if I had a microphone or some people had a microphone, we do like little freestyles and stupid shit. No one could freestyle, but everyone was just drunk as fuck. Whatever, it was fun. It came out of fun, good times. I downloaded Audacity and I bought my first shitty rinky-dink like party controller, and I was a DJ and fucking producer in senior year.
Just happened. You made it happen.
Just made it happen. Raw dogging it.
Yeah.
And, for what we were doing, it wasn't half bad. But I went off to college, and you guys kind of started your serving thing and stayed like more local.
Yeah, we stayed local. Yeah. We made Panorama.
I was gonna say
Panorama was the first song.
You want to find something? Go on SoundCloud. Look up Panorama by Rem Music.
Yeah, that song was the first, and we had some bitches shaking ass. First song out of all songs.
No reason at all. I mean, it was a good ass shaking song. Like, if we remade it, it would sound fire. But right now, it sounds like it was recorded with the Potato and Audacity. Like, but then you guys started going to Blaze, right?
Yeah. So we started doing that. Really, just trying to put stuff together. Try to find a sound. If that, we were still learning it. We were like, okay, well, this guy's been doing it. Shout out to Blaze. And we did what? With Little Mama was there.
I'm gonna say you did your whole, pretty much your entire Paradise EP.
Yeah, the Paradise EP was done there, but the one that we first started with, like before cigars and stuff, was
Backwoods in Dubai.
Backwoods in Dubai. Shorty looking fly. Yeah, Backwoods in Dubai. Great song. Look it up. SoundCloud. That's when stuff like started kind of developing. It was kind of hard because we would do stuff down here.
The few pictures that we have of you performing are from Quick Show. And
yeah,
like, that's what I was setting up the DJing and the lights and all the audio. Sal was organizing and like promoting and shit, but like I was really the one that was like running the shit like on the stage. He himself did like 13 or 14 of those. I was involved in like 9 of them.
So he goes to Gainesville.
Yeah, and I'm trying to organize shows up there. Working my way in with the EDM scene up there.
The scene in Spring Hill is ass.
Oh yeah, there isn't a scene.
There isn't a scene, so like we're not really making progress. And then if we do want to record, we're like, okay, we're between Blaze and you, and like we're going back and forth.
Yeah, driving up to Gainesville for an hour and a half for paying $100 an hour down.
Yeah, we were, and that's the whole thing. It was like me recording with you so that we could get practice in and really, and like, so finally, like our first studio that you had was when you lived in that apartment, and then the first song that we really recorded was, which hasn't been released yet, even though I've had it for 7 years. Tale of Two Cities. Yeah. That one.
It's been essentially done since then, and then Dame, we like. had to wait on and like finish and release.
Yeah.
And that's why it took so long to get your EP out. It took like 3 or 4 years. I went through like freshman and really sophomore year was when I started making a lot of purchases. I got a new Mac, Motu interface. I got new microphones. I started learning more mic techniques, how to map, figuring out routing and everything. And I was really digging deep into production.
And you were doing this while you were going to college.
Yeah.
While you were working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Like sometimes working 2 jobs. Yeah. It was the grind for sure. It still is. Somewhere along the way, I met John Pop with Vivid Sky. Vivid Sky formed its LLC in May of 2019. We started Stringkeeper Entertainment as a company in April of 2019. It's just funny how the timing worked out. And then I met John, I think, in June of 2019. He started off with a band. First of all, Morning Fatty was like a ska band. Once that band kind of broke up, he was left with a shitload of production equipment. He just started a production company because he had a bunch of it. And he had people that knew what to do with it. I wasn't privy to a lot of like really intense shit. So he brought me under his wing, and that's when I really got a lot of my experience in the field, working with like serious live production setups, starting to meet real artists, work in real clubs, get like seriously involved with the Gainesville music scene, get all my connections. From there, that we started, instead of having a home studio, we had access to real studio equipment with like $1,000
that was the studio, because I mean like you have a recording background because of your dad, and like your dad is like hippie.
He's like, old school taper.
Yeah,
old school
like
taper.
just
Fucking
taping like thousands,
and,
thousands of tapes, and just like putting the mics up, and everybody shut the fuck up and listen to the music, have your cheers.
Yep.
But yeah, we had that small studio at
the first one was Lux, and then the second one was Bivens.
Lux. We had a few more things. We had like little lights like this.
Like we put a comforter in a closet, like nailed it into the closet, and made like a little vocal booth.
But to be honest, that's where we've recorded like 80% of our shit.
Yeah, I would say majority of our music was
all of the shit that we
like
recorded.
Wrote and inspired and recorded in there.
A lot of fucking Bacardi. Yeah, so we went there, and then we had the big studio that Juice is talking about. That studio was just amazing. Like even before that studio in the warehouse, we had the one on the side of his house.
It was like somewhere between a detached garage and a trailer.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had all of his equipment in there at one point, and it was just at his house.
Yeah, we
were able to go and record in there.
And had a lot of fun. And there was a night that we were like, yo, we're gonna record these fucking 8 songs or whatever. We're gonna be here until they're all done. And we remember that night, and I was like sleeping on the couch and shit. I
don't know. I mean, we were trying to get them all ready for release, and we've only released like 2 of them.
Yeah, we have so many. We have so many of them, and people are like, "What? Why haven't you released it?" Like, you know. And it's like it's such a weird thing. It's like
we're perfectionists.
Yeah, we're perfectionists. Yeah, and we're learning more and more, because that's the thing. It's like we make a song, and then it's like, but I did this to it, and it's a lot better. I'm like, it just keeps on getting better, and it's like one of those things, you just gotta release it. But anyway, so then we had the big studio and the warehouse. We had
Universal Audio.
We had the nice mics. Yeah. We had everything.
We started using Logic for the first time on like a brand new Mac, like iMac.
We were starting to do like shows like for the Stringkeeper, which by the way, the Stringkeeper. How did you come up with that name?
Dude, okay, so the Stringkeeper name is interesting because it really started with my first email account ever that my dad started for me when I was like 6. So he got the first family desktop, and everybody had a profile and a Bell South account underneath it. He came up with it. He just typed in stringkeeper@bellsouth.net. That was the email. And I was never known as like the Stringkeeper or anything like that, but it was just like something that no one else had. I never saw it replicated anywhere. The only other thing that really pops up in Google when you type in Stringkeeper is something to do with a bow and arrow. I also shoot bow and arrow, so it kind of worked both ways. Like I played cello, played guitar, played violin.
The keeper of strings. I always think about like just like a fucking like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
But it's just strings everywhere.
Yeah,
like
dude, we'll have to come up with a crazy ass.
That would be pretty cool.
Like, merch. I mean, there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff behind it, and like. My dad's buddies, they have something called Home Team.
Sponsored by Home Team.
Home Team.
Home Team, baby.
Everything's the Home Team. It's all about the Home Team, and you sacrifice and you give and you party with the Home Team, and like I love the energy, and that's what I was raised around. That's the energy that I came to know. So that's kind of what I want to emulate with Stringkeeper, and the music thing was the touch. Like I mean, whatever. That's what we did. We did music.
Well, that's what we were recording and doing everything, and then we're like, we gotta make money off of this, and we wanna also like entertain people, you know, like that's why our thing is we're here to entertain. He came up to me with the Stringkeeper, like, you know, let's start a company, and then we just like he said Stringkeeper, and I was like, yeah, like that's perfect. And then there's Rem Music, and that came from like we're raised on like old school music, like real music kind of stuff.
Like what the boomers say.
Real music. You know, we try to bring back those vibes and everything. Retro shoes or something, you bring it back and everything.
And everyone's stuck in the 80s and 90s right now.
We're ahead of you motherfuckers. So, things are going good. Playing time in clubs, doing a lot of production. You know, we're making music. We're getting everything ready. And then, boom, COVID.
Yeah, which I know that's everybody. But, dude, for us, it really felt like it hit harder than a lot of people because it was so fucking close. I knew a lot of people that just weren't moving at the same speed that we were. And, like, everyone was kind of like, we got plenty of time. We're young. You know, we're going into the 20s. I had this gut-wrenching feeling in December of 2019 that, like, something's going to go wrong.
I remember you called me. I remember I was at my uncle's house, and you were like, hey, I have to talk to you about this, like, COVID shit. I'm like, okay, whatever. You were like, yo, shit's gonna get bad. And I was like, what do you mean? You're like, it's coming closer to Florida. I don't know what's gonna happen with this entertainment stuff. You're like, I don't know what's gonna happen to the music scene. I think everything's gonna... And I thought you were crazy. And then I was like, okay, sure, blah, blah, blah. That stuck with me forever. Like, I really remember that conversation. And then, like, it hit... I mean, we were in Florida, so we didn't have super lockdown, but it was still, like, there was lockdown.
For a solid 30 days... it did come to a grinding halt. And everyone, including people in Florida, were stopped. People were not going out. It was like the whole, couldn't get food in Gainesville. We were barely even going to classes. Music was fucking shut down. There were a couple people that were trying to do like parties and stuff, like covert parties, but some people got like shut down and arrested, and other people were like, no, don't do that. Like examples that were set in the community not to do that. So for the first 2 months, Gainesville is a college town and has like a music industry just completely shut down. Definitely there were a lot of businesses that went under, bars and shit.
Because it hit in March. March hit. That's when shit started to go crazy. And like Hernando County was kind of the last place to get hit by COVID. Like we stayed pretty steady without having any like infection rates. And then
no one fucking believed in it.
Nobody believed. Yeah. And then it went one person to 100 to 1,000. So at that time when COVID hit, you know, we didn't know what was going on with music. Everything shut down. Starting to get a lot of stuff done in Gainesville. I remember my boss came up to me, they're like, yo, apply for unemployment. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, everyone's gonna be cut, everyone's gone. I went 2 months just receiving unemployment, and then I went back and they were like, hey, like we're gonna hire some people back. We dealt with from March, and then from March, and then I left in December. COVID, everybody kind of dealt the same shit. Everyone stayed inside, didn't really do shit, tried to work what you can. You know,
all the creators were pretty much left to twitching and live streaming. So that was what we ended up doing. As things started to open up more in Florida, which that was the reprieve we had that a lot of people didn't have, is Florida actually started to open up, and you know, people were taking temperatures and wearing masks and everything, and we were trying to maintain like a sense of complacency and trying to make a suitable, healthy environment or whatever, and we had created like a big setup in that warehouse with the studio. It was essentially like pay to perform and use our stage. You get the footage, we get footage, and we broadcast it live. And then you can, like, I mean, people shot music videos there. They did like a bunch of things there. And eventually, as we started to open up more and more, we started to have like a live audience with it that like would pay to attend, as well as we would do the live stream. Then it started to pick back up at that point. But during that time, we were shooting music videos.
Yeah, at that time, I was working at fucking Outback. Bloomin' Onion shit, whatever. I was there for like 2.5 years. In that time frame, like it started in March, and then in December, I made the decision to move to Louisiana. And move out there with my uncle, learn some more music shit. Need to get the fuck out of there. You know, I just started a relationship with Marissa, and it was a hard decision because shit was kind of picking back up. Decided to do long distance, and me and Juice talked, and we were like, let's just stay in contact. Before I left, we filmed the video for Bill Nye, and
that's right, you did leave right after.
I left right after because we had 1 day to film it. We had 1 day to film Bill Nye, and that's when we snuck into UF and we filmed it.
I was at UF. The physics building wasn't in use.
Into UF.
It's a public university. You're allowed to step on campus.
We had dry eyes. It was great. But we had one.
Definitely watch the Bill Nye
day.
Music video.
The Bill Nye music video is fucking amazing. Shout outs to Marissa McCants for fucking killing that shit. Mm-hmm. And What we filmed it? We filmed it in like
editing
fucking 30 minutes. Like we rushed it and like
we knew exactly what we were gonna do. We had all our props.
we went right in there. So we did that. We did a video that we have to release still.
Yeah, we did like a merch collab with a it's kind of
Always
like
True.
they upcycled clothing essentially, and they sold it, and they like it was street design. And, like, the way they did it was
cool.
really cool.
It was cool. And we did a great video.
Yeah, we did great video. I mean, we had them at multiple events. The video it was cool. It was made by their dude Cody Roberts, who was like their roommate, and he did a good job on it. We didn't really know what we were doing as far as merch goes. Like we had a few things that they had like body paint. Like he was wearing clothes and they splatter painted them. And then
you guys will see it one day.
Yeah, and eventually we'll drop it. And we have all that.
We
stuff
just waited.
Like
we held on too long. We held
did.
on too long, but also it never felt like the right time. Which I guess sometimes it'll never feel like the right time. But it was a cool thing to do. And you know what? It really showed that we could do what we wanted to do with just us. Yeah, they spray paint and everything, but like the ideas and everything, like it's really just me and Juice. That's it. Like that's all String Keeper is. Like it's just us two working together. So. Anyway, so I was gone for 6 fucking months.
Why did you go out to Louisiana? Why did you go out there?
Well, COVID, the money-wise.
Right.
Also the living situation. And learn some more music stuff. We were gonna record, send stuff back and forth. That was the plan. That did not happen.
And why did that not happen?
Mostly because the job that I was working, I was doing electrical work. Wake up 7 a.m., drive out to a location. I'd come back at like 5 p.m. or something like that. Maybe we'd go and train, or maybe we'd go visit somewhere in Louisiana. It wasn't on our mind at the time. I'd call you and be like, hey, I'm at the mouth of the Mississippi River. We're supposed to be in Alabama for 1 week. Ended up staying in Alabama for like 2 months. I'm happy that I went because I got to experience new things and I learned a lot of stuff about MPCs and a lot of stuff about DAWs. If anything, learned a lot of history about music, but also like it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I was gonna say bottom line is he didn't have the time.
Yeah, I did
he
not.
He was overworked.
Oh my god, I was working.
The conditions weren't right, and you just.
When I moved to Alabama, because we were there, we were doing lights and stuff like that. I moved to a Airbnb with like 7 other people, 3-bedroom house, and I would work from like 7 to 7. Made COVID in a hospital. That's fucking crazy. Trying to like talk to you about music, see what's going on, doing a long distance relationship, and every day being like, am I gonna get COVID and be put in one of these hospital beds?
Yeah.
So then I came back, Juice and I sat down, we're like, yo, we gotta go full fucking steam at this. But so I come back, where are you at?
You came back in June of 2021. John Pop started Vivid Sky in May of 2019. By January of 2020, he had absorbed Everyman Sound Company. By February of 2020, we had done a show at the O-Dome with like a 15,000 person crowd with Tory Lanez.
Shout out Tory.
Don't shout out Tory.
Sorry.
Don't shout out Tory. ABL helped with the lights, but we contracted the gig and we set everything up. And that was like my first like big fucking gig with like arena style show.
Yeah.
That went awesome. And then COVID happened, so we had all this fucking equipment.
Yeah.
So we needed to pay this shit off. We needed to do gigs. We weren't getting those gigs well enough.
Yeah.
So we were trying to come up with these ways. We did the live streams. He did some live streams. We were doing underground shows from time to time, but there wasn't enough money. So he formed a second company named Vivid Sky Vertical that was more of a promotional and like event curation company. And he started these vertical events. We were trying to curate shows in hotels. They were social distanced because you bought like 4-person in a room. So you would buy out a room for you and all your friends. We would set up a stage outside of one side of the hotel and project the lights and sound to the hotel. So you would listen to the music and watch the music from the balcony. A couple of companies and events in Europe that successfully pulled it off. And we did it at the Bahia Mar in Fort Lauderdale with Noizu and Wax Motif and Sunburn, which are big house DJs. It was a success. I don't think it was profitable, but it was a success, and it was a good time, and it was a good way for all of us to figure out where our roles were in the company. And then we did a second one that was like 3 times as big at a hotel in Daytona Beach. We did like a huge like country one with Lee Bryce and fucking, I don't know, a whole bunch of people. That was at the end of 2020 when we did that. So going into 2021, we were full steam ahead. You were working your ass off.
Yeah, well, I'm being overworked. He's being overworked.
I'm being overworked.
And then music is just like...
Taking a backseat.
Yeah, taking a backseat.
All my spare time wasn't even going to our music. It was like working in the studio trying to get more clients.
Because money, it's money. Because that's the thing with COVID. Like COVID's like, hey, I'm gonna take away your fucking livelihood. Figure this shit out. And then it's like both of us are like, well, we don't have fucking time for music. We're trying to make money because we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yep. And we had a company now that we had to make men's meat for. And make
oh my
bills
god! And that was
Then we actually started to get into the wedding market because the wedding market was taken off because people had postponed their weddings for COVID. So now all of a sudden they needed DJs last minute because they were rescheduling their shit and everything was opening up, especially in Florida. Yeah. And we started to find success with doing kind of our own thing with DJing and UMC and us because he was finally back and we could finally focus after like the summer. I had just graduated from my senior year of college.
And we were trying to throw events here and there. Like we threw one at High Dive.
Yep, we threw the 420 show.
The 420 show.
But that wasn't until 2022.
Oh my god, that's so crazy.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't even throw that until we had thrown a show at High Dive like called Winterfest. That was in January of 2020, wasn't it? That was before COVID. That was before COVID. We threw the live streams, which were shows, but we didn't get to throw a whole lot of shows during COVID because it was COVID, first of all. And second of all, it just stripped us of all our money and all our time. And we really needed to have like a rehabilitation period to get our money and our shit straight to throw that event in 2022. We wanted to throw like a big 420 event, or a big 420 event in 2022 because we founded our business on 420 of 2019.
So get back, we do that shit. The rest of like 2021, we're still trying to get shit together. I mean, like it's like a beginning phase, a COVID phase, and now we're on like our third phase.
Yeah, we're on a growth phase right now.
Yeah, we're on our like where we were at the beginning of Gainesville. Like
it has taken us this long to get back to where we were 3 years ago.
Yeah, we were like this before. Now we're like we're climbing so much faster now that it's kind of crazy. The big thing is like when I came back, the next step in this company and everything is St. Pete. So we moved to St. Pete. I found a job in Clearwater. We're kind of in a limbo with the fucking company. Like when I come back, we don't know what the fuck is going on because just so much shit is changing.
I'm focused on graduating.
Like I call Eli like, hey, where are we at with this song, bro? I have not seen my bed in like 4 days. I don't know about it. I'm like, hey, I get it. So we hit St. Pete, and at the beginning of this growth phase, it's filled with fucking bullshit. And it's not bullshit on our part. It's bullshit on like. You know how to explain this.
So Gainesville is a great trial town. It's a great town to go in and fuck up in and like figure out what you're doing wrong and get it right because your mistakes are minimal there. Everything's cheaper than everywhere else. Everyone's messing up all the time, so there's not a whole lot of judgment surrounding it. I didn't fall into the frat circle. When I did fall into the event circle, it was kind of more of I'm someone who does live production. I'm someone that works for a production company. People didn't really see me as an artist because I wasn't branding myself as an artist all the time. That was really my challenge. Was everyone had a perspective of me and who I was and what I was doing. They associated me with college, but it was kind of more as like just a student and like another guy in the town, not really like an artist or someone who was trying to come out to the forefront of the scene. Focusing on becoming that artist at that point and trying to break through when I didn't have enough time left. If you don't start out early, the town was going to make you regret it. Because if people didn't know you as that person, you quickly got smothered by everybody else that was constantly coming into a town. A town refreshes every 6 months. Really, it refreshes like every year. So every year, you have to reintroduce yourself. There's constant competition. People try not to see it as competition because there really is enough places and there should be enough pieces of the pie that everyone, doesn't, like no one goes hungry. But the reality is people do hog spots. There's always like that it guy really is at the forefront, whereas there's companies like us that we just don't have the pull, or we didn't have the pull then. So coming to St. Pete, he was saying that it's not like that. He thought that we might be able to have the in that you needed.
It was pretty much like, yes, I was like, listen, the people here are super cool, and they are like, I came down here and we met some neighbors of ours. Shout out Cardo, Kirsten, super cool people, knew everybody downtown. Like, listen, I do music, I'm trying to introduce myself to people.
Just for St. Pete, there's 4 times the amount of venues and like opportunities than there are in Gainesville.
Yeah.
But there's 10 times the amount of fucking people. We were kind of led to believe like there's enough room for everybody. Anyone can come onto the scene, and as long as you're half decent, you'll make it. I don't think that's true anywhere.
Pretty much, I met a lot of people who are in this group. They own a bunch of bars, and these people really vouch for us. They listen to our music.
DJs and managers and bartenders.
They're DJs, and we talked to every DJ for probably it had to be 7 months.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 months.
Like 6 months, 7 months. I was going out every week, talking to people, meeting people in this group because they have clubs and bars that we want to go in. We want to DJ, and that's the thing. It's like I'm an MC, but I'm vouching for my DJ, and you can look at the videos. We performed at this club and this club and this club and this bar in Gainesville, which doesn't mean shit in St. Pete because nobody goes from St. Pete to Gainesville.
Yeah, it's just not like
St. Pete. It doesn't mean anything. The DJs only have so much pull, and pretty much it all comes down to this one guy. No one can get a hold of this guy. We found out the hard way. It's like, hey, we use the same people in rotation for these fucking clubs and bars, and we're not letting anybody else in. We were just like, how does this work? And I would find a new lead, and we get excited, and we had promises made to us, and at the end of the day, it was nobody's fault because they got in and they tried to get us in. I really do believe that, but it's just like this company's like, we have our people, fuck letting new people in, and if there was somebody new going in, we just don't know how. If I talk to your right hand man who says like, yo, I've known this motherfucker 10 years and blah, 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 and I still only get this spot. You know, all cool people, we appreciate you vouching for us and everything. So pretty much we wasted 6 months on that bullshit, and we were pissed. And we were at this point of like, we need to get gigs. We're getting weddings here and there. They always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. But when it's who you know, that person has to give you a chance. And no one gave us a chance. They would hear us out, vouch for us. The person who never did. And for 6 months we tried. For 6 solid months, every fucking week. Went out there, shook hands, talked to people. We sent out hundreds of emails, and it's ridiculous that people won't give you a chance. Mm-hmm. So what was your mindset during that? Because I was pissed. I was getting fucking livid. I was getting livid, and Eli's Jesus is like, oh, this is what it is. This is how it goes. I'm like, no, this place is different. And at the end of the day, it's not.
Yeah,
people are fucking dicks.
Places like Gainesville and like St. Pete, people want to think they're like a diamond in the rough, and that it's kind of like a hippie town. It goes off of old vibes. Like it's less of a competitive attitude about it. Like, you know, compared to say Tampa. Tampa's a very cutthroat town. Now it's so expensive. It's like, you know, one of the top 5 growing cities in America right now. Like, so compared to Tampa, St. Pete is a lot more lounge, liberal, lackadaisical. There's progressive, maybe, you know, like there's more opportunity there. And people are not as harsh to critique or to really step on your toes. But yeah, the reality is that wherever you go in the industry, it really is about who you know. It is about what you know. You can't be bad, obviously. You have to have your craft down for the most part. If it's gonna do Gainesville and St. Pete like that, it's gonna be like that anywhere. If you're someone that's out there that's like kind of relying on that or hoping on that, like I would kind of reassess your situation, because unfortunately there aren't that many people out there that are gonna give you your shot. Kato on the track, he's a perfect example of an artist that spent 10 years grinding away and doing his shit before he really started to pop off. And sometimes that's what it takes, and there are people doing it for years and years and decades sometimes before they get it.
The amount of people that reject you, like when you see all the greats, they're like, oh, I was rejected for fucking 2 years by 8 different companies. We just kind of went through the rejection phase, and then...
But what we didn't do was give up. We didn't let it stop us. We took many opportunities to reapproach a situation, kind of step back, reanalyze what we're going to do, what our next move is. We did waste a lot of time and money and effort. Regardless, that company did not work out for us. We were bitter at the time. Now, like, we reflect on it, it's just a learning experience.
Yeah.
We started going towards other places.
So, that's still going to be phase 3, but that's going to be the bullshit phase. Phase 3B, which is real shit.
Phase 3B started at the beginning of this year. We have our heads screwed on straight. We know exactly what we're doing and where we're going.
Marissa said this to me. She's like, you guys are going for the top. Like, get into that underground shit. And I was like, man, maybe that's what we gotta do. Go for the underground shit. And we've been in the underground. In Gainesville, underground, 100%. And we fucking curated our own events. We would do hip hop with country, with fucking reggae, with fucking freestyle band. We did everything. So, and you know, we're tired, man. We're really beat down from going to all these clubs and going to all these bars and like just being rejected and false promises. So we go in and it's an open deck night. And we go in there and Juice is like, yo, like, hey, I'm trying to go in for a slot, because you kind of just walk in, you know. And we meet this guy, Gio, and he's super cool. And he's like, yeah, of course.
They actually started walking in. Him and his buddy Corso walk in. Like, I do talk to Gio, and him and his boys seem like they came from like the drum and bass scene. And I came from more like the house scene. Obviously hip hop too, but like getting into EDM, and what we were there for was house music, more specifically bass house, tech house. So I did get the first slot to play on open decks that night. I threw down, and they were all really nice. And when he's not emceeing, he's kind of playing the manager agent role. So like he's talking to people while I'm throwing out a mix. That way, you know, he can take advantage of the conversations.
If he's playing, I'm talking to people like, hey, he's playing. This is what we do. We have this company, blah, blah, blah. If I'm making beats or if I'm emceeing, he's talking to people or he's DJing. There's never a moment that we're just like bullshitting with our dick in our hand.
Yeah,
there's
not
like
at all.
Half of the time we get drunk and talk to these people.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
like,
we're
that's
having
the thing.
fun.
We're having fun, but like we're not like so yeah, Gio lets him spin. Gio, he was the guy, and he's like, hey, I'm part of this collective. Talk to these people. So he spinned, did great, brought people in. At the time, he's now moved back to Spring Hill.
Right.
He's in Spring Hill. Got out of Gainesville. Going from Gainesville to St. Pete is fucking impossible. Yeah. But going from Gainesville, so what would happen now is like we feel good about this lead. Time to go back on this grind. Go with the lead, and I start showing up. So Gio, shout out to Will, shout out to Julian. They did a Latin Puerto Rican night, and I showed up and I was talking to them, and they fucking destroyed it. They killed it. They absolutely annihilated that night. I'm talking to them, and then they start talking about St. Pete Brewery. They start saying like, oh, you should go out there, and start talking to people. And then St. Pete Brewery.
We hit up one of their events previous to the vending beats thing. They have something called the Nest, which is basically like a rave cave that they've set up. They were hosting an event there. All the contributions from the cover charge go to the DJs. Obviously, this is more of a grassroots event. Literally, all the money that they're profiting is going straight to the entertainment. So I thought that was really cool. He thought that was really cool. St. Pete Brewing is great. We met John, who's a member of Trippy Squad. Hogue. He's another really big component to all this, giving us a couple recommendations of places to try out and check out. One of the places that we approached back at the end of 2022 was the Floridian Social Club.
This is back in the bullshit phase.
The bullshit phase. Long story short, we were told that we're nobody if we don't play at the Benz. Like, the Benz is the fucking spot to be at. I guess a lot of people get their start at the Benz. And Hogue plays there, and like there are a lot of different...
Trippy Squad.
There's a variety of people and genres that do end up playing there. So it is a pretty well-known spot. And the first time we went there was kind of an awkward experience. But we did get invited back to the Benz because Hogue and Trippy Squad was playing there. And we went back and saw them there. And that was like one of the major times that we showed face. And we saw everybody. We met Andre that night.
Before that, we did the first interview at St. Pete Brewery.
Now that we had been to St. Pete Brewing a couple times, we were invited to go back, and we had suggested that we would do these interviews because we had done them before. We want to show people our value because we can come in and just be personalities, we can be DJs, we can be musicians, we can make recap videos, we can do whatever you want. Really, he's just a fucking personality. So we put him in front of a camera with a microphone, and we had him just go around the whole event and interview a bunch of different vendors, and we tried to get interviews with some DJs, but they were busy DJing, so we just kind of took videos of them DJing. We've been releasing videos from that. So that's definitely something we want to pursue more. We did Bending Beats. He did good on the interviews. We just released the final video on those. Check out the Instagram for that. We went to the Benz.
Which amazing. Shout out Trippy Squad, bro.
Yeah,
fucking A, bro.
Threw it down. And guests. Gio was there.
Gio was there. Will was there.
Talk about it.
You okay?
So yeah, we found these guys, found all their collectives, found out Drez is the head of Toby Entertainment with Danielle.
And you guys were on our radar because you guys just throw these events and we're just like, we have to be a part, we have to throw something with them. Like, the main objective is getting Juice to fucking DJ. The times that we've done it, people love it.
Help us. Help us.
Please. At the Benz, there was this one drunk lady. She was drunk as fuck, and she was just at the bar.
Dude, like
she's
a not
can you
okay
speak
drunk.
words?
And
yeah, must be nice. And I was like, what?
dude,
Why are you here? She got so drunk she had ego death. So anyway, yes, we met Andre, we went there, and then we heard that they were doing a Valentine's Day event at St. Pete Brewery.
Yeah.
We were all over downtown St. Pete, and
Like
but
we
we
are
knew
every
that we
fucking
had to go to
weekend.
St. Pete Brewery.
Glad we did because we got to talking with Julian, who headlined it and closed out the show.
Talk to Will.
Talked to Will. They invited us to come to an after. I got to throw down at the after. I played like.
Well, it was a big deal. It was honestly a big fucking deal.
To us. It really
To us.
was.
So you guys were inviting us out. Super cool. For us that, as you can see, have been on this crazy journey, all we wanted to do was spit. We were willing to stay up till 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. People don't know, like, he has to work at like
Dude,
6
let me just
o'clock in the
tell
morning.
you
Go ahead.
what happened, because what we're talking about transpired in 3 days.
Yeah.
Like, we did Vending Beats the 5th of February, not to mention was right after a 2-hour gig that I did at Hooch and Hive, playing guitar and singing and shit. And then I met him over in St. Pete. I was in Tampa, I went over to St. Pete, met him out there. The next weekend, I go to work from 7:30 to 4. I come down, we saw Trippy Squad at the Benz. That went to like 3 a.m. And then I went back to his place in St. Pete, crashed for like an hour and a half, went back to work from 7:30 to 4. 1 hour of sleep, and 24 hours later, came back down here. We went to a warehouse party. Well, that was where Hogue was playing, and Hogue threw down a good set. We went to all these different places, trying to see all these different people, dap all our people up, and show them love and shit. And then we ended at the Valentine's Day event at St. Pete, and that went till 2 a.m. And we went to the after, started at like 3 a.m. I went on the decks at like...
We didn't bring cups.
we were trying to be good people.
Well, everybody had beers and we brought liquor.
But we didn't bring any cups.
Yeah.
We did our thing at the after. I threw down a set. All these people that we had met, and that like this had all like kind of culminated to. And this was the first.
It was like if we died
had.
and went to St. Pete heaven.
Oh my god. Have your first set at 4:30 a.m. Bottom line is I got to play for all these really cool people, and they were giving me kudos and props, and I guess they were talking me up to Christian, and it made everything that we had gone through for the past like 9 months worth it. Finally,
it felt so good.
We were finally getting recognized by these people. We really do just appreciate the people that stood up for us, give us the opportunity, and that have now seen what we have to offer, who are now like in our comment sections hyping us up after we post the interview videos.
And the song, we released Candy. Everyone loves Candy.
Yep. As soon as we have our shit straight and we have a fan base, there will be a new phase of like trying to push that forward and really make something of that. But right now, what we're really on is getting a solid few places to call our homes, working routinely with the same places, building our craft, building our audiences, because he has his stuff, I have my stuff, we have stuff that we do together, separately with other people. We have the whole entire company that we gotta fucking pay for, pay the bills on. Where can we go? What can we do? What audiences can we play for and appease? Because we can do it all. Try us out. I mean, that's what it is. I know it's tough because a lot of people don't want to try new shit, but there's a lot of starving artists out there. There's a lot of people that are willing to bring a new sound and a new vibe, and we are two of those people.
Yeah, man.
I think we deserve it as much or more than anybody else.
Our mission is to become part of the community and show you what we have to offer. And so many people are like, oh, when are you going to put out new music? When are you going to do this? What's going on with this? And it's like, you have it all. You have everything that we've been through. And the people who just met us, and like we talk about what we've been through, but you have the whole timeline. You know everything that we've had to deal with. And we've been fucking struggling, and we've had our ups and downs, and right now we're on a good up. We're real. You know, there's not any other people that are gonna tell you exactly what happened. All we wanna do is entertain. We're here to entertain. We appreciate the people who helped us and show us the way. And there was Ian, Tex, Tip. Like, shout out all you guys were all good.
Shout out Gio, shout out Will, shout out Julian, Luna J, Danielle, Andre.
We're back on the upswing before COVID and all that shit, but we appreciate the underground scene. We appreciate everything that everyone's done for us, and we're here, we're ready. We're just kind of counting on you people to help us out. That's what it is.
So, just so you know, we've both been doing music our whole lives. Started the company in 2019. We're going into our 5th year of business. Takes a lot to start something and live your dreams. And if you're doing it right now, don't give up on it. You just got to be smart about it. Make good investments. But invest in yourself.
And we're coming with new music, new videos. We're String Keeper, we're Rem Music, 2 Spring Hill motherfuckers.
Just 2 small town boys with big dreams.
We're here to entertain. That's it. Like, comment, repost.
Please listen to our stuff.
Please. We might even do a GoFundMe. Who knows?
Oh, we need to.
Feel sad for us.
Feel a little bad.
Not like, a little bad.
We don't want pity.
We're here to bring good fucking music too. You motherfuckers better listen.
String Keeper.
We're here to entertain. Straight vodka.
Let me see ya. Let me see ya. Let me see ya. Girl, hit that floor like you slide down the pole. Let me see ya. One more time. Let me see ya. Let me see ya.